Hello, my name is 017, and I'm going to be narrating the story about Bob the Bismuth Atom and his son, Pete. Just like every other story, this one starts out with some background information. Bob has 83 electrons, 83 protons, and his atomic number is 83. He's 126 neutrons, and his atomic mass is 208.9804. He has 5 valence electrons. His Bohr's model looks like this. His Lewis-Dot model looks like this. And this is him. Right about there. And just an interesting fact, his ancestors weren't actually recognized as their own element until Claude Geoffroy the Younger in 1753 discovered that bismuth was an element of its own right instead of being a subclass of lead. Bob is part of the bismuth family. The bismuth family is part of a group called the post-transition metal community. Bob specifically is a bismuth-209 atom, and he's a lovely wife named Shelley, an oxygen-16 atom. And that is where our story begins. Bill and Shelley had one beautiful child that they named Pete, and he was a bismuth trioxide atom, and he loved to make fireworks. Every day, he'd sit around and configure himself in new ways, so every time he blew up, he made a different shape. But before Shelley was married to Bill, she was married to Ted, the lead atom. She and Ted didn't get along too well, because Ted was a serial killer. And while Shelley was definitely very reactive, she wasn't that mean. Before they got divorced, they had one child named Michael, and he was a triplumbic tetraoxide atom. And he also loved to make fireworks. At first, scientists picked Michael because they knew him better. They knew what he was capable of. But after further testing, they figured out that he was bad for the environment. So, looking for alternatives, they turned to Pete. They found that Pete was not bad for the environment at all, because Michael had inherited his serial killer animosity from his father, while Bismuth, being Pete's father, was a fairly level-minded guy. But this choice of Pete or Michael sent great spasms of jealousy through Michael. He didn't like it, so he hatched a plan. Michael's plan was to lure Pete into the pot of ammonium persulfate, turning Pete into a virtually useless atom of bismuth tetraoxide. With Pete out of the way, Michael could go to the fireworks office and demand his job back. And it worked perfectly. Pete got turned into a bismuth tetraoxide atom and was useless for the rest of his life. Flushed with his success, Michael went to the fireworks office and demanded that he have his job back, only to find that there were a lot more bismuth trioxide atoms than just Pete. Humiliated and angry, Michael hid in someone's salad at a restaurant and got ingested and died in the person's stomach because of all the hydrochloric acid. His residue did end up killing the person in the end, but Michael was dead as well. And everyone lived happily ever after, except for Michael and Pete, and the person who got killed in the end. So really, it wasn't that happy an ending. Thank you. This movie was made by 117, a Secret Asian Man production.